You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I gotta start the show with this. SHTFing believable. Unbelievable. Can you believe what's going on? Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Unbelievable. I can't believe they're saying what they're saying. They're doing what they're doing. I was talking with Chris P. Bacon today. We have kind of a weekly meeting where we sit down and we rock the boat on the world. And little inside joke there for Chris. And he was like, did you hear what the Canadian interior, how is it, whatever? I'm like, I don't know that position, man. And he's like, yeah, the guy actually said they're trying to bring down the Canadian housing, or they're trying to bring their economy down. They admitted it. He said this smug little turd, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the article. And maybe Chris will send it to me. Hello, Chris, email me that stuff. They're doing this on purpose. When Biden said this is going to be, an uncomfortable, a painful, a difficult transition into the Green New Deal, the greening of the world. Yeah, they weren't kidding. Woo! Anyways, we've got a lot of, shall we say, predictions that the R syndicate behind the scenes is chewing on right now. And it ain't chewing the fat, folks. It's chewing a big, juicy turd. Thank you, Uman, for that. Anyways, where do we start? I've got so much stuff here, but it is the monologue, and it is the Q&A on Patreon. I want you to go to Patreon. I want you to click the Prepared Mind there. Hit search, hit the Prepared Mind, click on there and sign up. It's only, folks, 7 pennies a day. I don't care if they're shiny pennies. I don't care if they're dull, used pennies. We just get 7 pennies a day, $2 a month, and you can be here talking live daily about everything that's going on. So let's dig in now. Let's start with this. You know who what did they call it? They used to call it, now that I'm calling it by the new thing, I can't remember the old thing, right? Europol, right? Warns weapons shipped to Ukraine could be used by criminal groups. It used to be Interpol. Now it's Europol. These people are original. Nice going, Euro trash. These idiots, it's a big duh. Really? This is like Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder's Fast and Furious, where we're going to give guns to the bad guys so we can catch them doing bad things. And it's like, what kind of plan is this? Right. Giving weapons to Ukraine, they could end up in the hands of bad guys for years and years and years. It's a big duh. It's a big no SHTF shit. Thank you very much. Thank you for stating the obvious, Europol. These people, folks, it doesn't end there. I just, let me go. I got to get back into Ukraine. Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. Ah! Yeah, Ukraine. There was a prediction in passing that the prepared prophet, me, I'm a secular prophet, not one of those religious dudes, but yeah, we kind of made this passing comment, right? I stated that once Ukraine war is done, once it's over, then Zelensky is over. And that this useful puppet idiot of the World Economic Forum and the Ukraine oligarchs, he's either going to be assassinated or just kicked out of the country. And I'm betting he's not going to get. And a lot of people are like, he's going to get a fat bank account and he's going to live in bliss on some tropical island. I'm thinking his money is going to be confiscated by the Western leaders, right? The World Economic Forum, the Ukraine oligarchs, the Swiss banks. I bet they confiscate his money. That he has sold Ukraine so hard to the world. Oh, the poor Ukrainians. Oh, this and that. Oh, right? Because his ass is on the line. Either you win this war, little buddy, or you're toast. Well, 11, folks, get this, 11 Ukrainian military units say they're betrayed by senior commanders. Oh, yeah. Now, there's an article out. Now, these 11 units have put out social media videos and content, right? Here they are, the 13th Battalion of the 58th Motorized Infantry Brigade. And I've never understood the military, why everyone has to have all these huge numbers. It makes it sound like there's zillions of them. Anyways, 2nd Company, 46th Rifle Battalion, 3rd Platoon, 46th Infantry Battalion, 115th Brigade, 3rd Platoon of the 115th Brigade, the 71st Jaeger Infantry, Ukrainian 4th Brigade, 6th Battalion, 4th, 5th, and 6th Companies, the Cherkasy Territorial Defense, that must be their National Guard, 95th Airborne Assault Brigade, 30th Mechanized Brigade, 3rd Battalion, 9th Company, and the 57th Motorized Brigade. Those are the units that have put out information saying we have been screwed over, right? Now, the author of this article writes, after watching and listening to what all these guys say, he says, quote, I believe they are patriots, meaning the Ukraine military, who have been deceived into fighting for a false cause. But they are brave, honorable soldiers. Now, that is what I have never contended, with the exception of the Azov Battalion and other Nazi brigades. But most Ukrainians are Ukrainians, and they're honorable patriots. They're trying to fight for their nation. Now, having said that, right, I say stand by for the dissolution of the Ukraine army and support for Zelensky, because he is an installed puppet. His leadership failed because it serves not the people of Ukraine and their military that is patriotic, that it serves the West. Hello, Klaus and Scholz and gang, right? Now, here's another quote from the author. He says, at a minimum, I think this, meaning all of the social media and things, I think this may account for rumors that are surfacing about a coup to oust Voldemort Zelensky. Zelensky has lost the support of the troops. I think it is only a matter of time before commanders start to follow. Morale, folks. Military morale. They haven't been fed right. They haven't been armed right. They haven't been led right. They haven't had good missions. They feel like they're on suicide missions, that they're being sacrificed left and right. And we've heard reports of this. I have for sure. I think it's over. It's all over. The fat lady, she is done gargling. She is done flossing her teeth. She's starting to go, me, and get her voice going, la, 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 la. She's going to start singing, folks. It's over. The fat lady is singing, and this is over. Zelensky, I think, is toast. I believe that the Kissinger group, that I believe used to be the name of Henry Kissinger's think tank, the Kissinger group, Henry Kissinger, way back, 98-year-old fossil from the Richard Milhous Nixon administration. Yeah, still in power, still making the call. And he was like, that's it. We need to cede this. It's over, folks. It's just a matter of time. They've got to talk it all down. They got to back it up. But don't worry. They have screwed the entire planet up. They have screwed the entire planet up. I mean, just it's incredible. They have. It's not just the war in Ukraine. That's not SHTF. It was a step. It was part of the Great Reset. Right? They started, well, all the way back, August, September 2019. I said they just had an economic collapse and they pasted it over with bubble gum, duct tape to hide it. And then we ended up just a few months later, after they couldn't patch it all the way, Cerveza bug. They're like, okay, time to pull the ripcord. Great Reset time. Right? They ejected everything old and we're going with their new crap. Right? They ended up fighting the war. Now we have an enemy. And how's their excuse to destroy the economy with high oil prices? Oh, and I got news on that. They've jacked everything up. Look into it, right? We've got the news links. And if you're on Patreon, you get them and more. Everything we can't talk about that Google says we can't talk about, we got to post it over there. Crazy stuff, right? So now it's time to bring the economy down. Blame Russia, blame Putin, pretend like, yeah, Zelensky was an honorable, but, failure of a turd. Here we are. Who came out today? None other than old Yeller. Janet Yellen used to be chairman for the Federal Reserve. Right? She stepped in after Benjamin Shlomo Bernanke, and yeah, that was his middle name. She stepped in and rode that horse into the ground. And then we got Jerome Powell. But they recycled. That's right. You can recycle humans. And they recycled this old bureaucrat into the Secretary of the Treasury position. That's right. Old Yellen, Janet Yellen is back. And it's a clown show, folks. She admits she was, quote, wrong about inflation. I could have had a V8. I didn't believe her one freaking bit, by the way, when she said, oh, inflation's transitory. It's not all that bad. And we're like, have you seen the freaking gas prices? How can that not, gas and diesel, affect the cost of everything else out there? Because it goes into the cost of doing business. So, yeah, she was wrong. Surprise! Not so surprised. I'm actually shocked, though, that she admitted she was wrong. And you know, admitting you have a problem is the first step in addressing it and getting to the solution. But don't expect solutions yet. After much discussion, I believe they've got to bring us all the way down to the bottom, the maximum pain, before they say, oh, we need to fix this now. If the experts are wrong, folks, you know, in the CDC and the National Institutes of Health, if the experts are wrong in the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve, if the experts are wrong on Wall Street, who can we trust to tell us anything? Who do we listen to make decent plans as Americans to deal with life, business decisions, life decisions, investment decisions, retirement decisions? How about what do I do with my business? What do I do with other people? What do we do as managers of businesses when forecasting how many employees we're going to need? Now, then if you're a business in retail, how do you know how much business to plan for having products sent in if you don't know how many people are going to have a job to be buying shit off your shelves? Yeah, they folks, they're in the equivalent of a 1-ton ship, and they just threw out a 5-ton anchor and they brought it to a halt. If government experts are always wrong, and they are, why should we listen to them and certainly ever have to obey any of their BS rules and laws with respect to our personal rights? Don't listen to government, folks, to tell you how to fix things. Listen to government so that you know how to prepare, because what they're saying is wrong. And they're admitting it because it's so overly over the top obvious now. How can you see anything else, right? What did we predict? What did you and I talk about? The profit of prepping right here on the Prepared Mind. We talked about oil going to $200 a barrel, maybe more. We said, well, is it 50? It's at 100. I said, it's going to 150. It's going to 200. Expect $10 a gallon fuel. It's coming. And that's not the ceiling, in my opinion. So we got, oh, Shapoo, right? J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan is saying oil is going to rise to $136 a barrel, not by the end of the year, this freaking month. Well, they're saying it depends on what China does, right? Because you know, they're betting millions on crude exploding to $200. What? Oh, well, yeah, they're buying options and puts and all kinds of stuff. It's all speculation on the backside based on what China and Russia and Europe and America and the economies do. Don't worry, folks. They want to make gasoline and diesel so expensive. It's going to make solar panels and windmills look cheap. It's going to make nuclear energy look like it's almost free by the time they get done fucking up oil and gas and coal. And that's their plan, folks, to make energy so expensive that greening the world is going to look cheap. Now, I was talking with Crispy Bacon, and like I said, we were rocking the boat back and forth on which way to go. You know, do we turn left? Do we turn right? You know, hard to starboard, hard to port. What are they going to do? You know, are they going to wait till it's so bad that everyone's screaming at them, do something? And America's starting to say that, right? But once they finally say, yeah, we got a problem, I guess we were wrong in government, yeah, right? They're that stupid. Once they say that, the solution, folks, is not 2 months away. It's not even 2 years away. The solution, the fix to alleviate the pain is 5 to 10 years away, because the solution is not windmills and solar panels. The solution is base load energy. The solution is affordable fuel. We're not going to get either of those quickly because they've shut everything down. You want to open a mine and get minerals so that you can make products you need? You got to go through all the regulatory bullshit. You got to go through the NEPA program. You got to go through the CEQA program. You got to get funding for it. You've got to get everyone who's a stakeholder. I hate that word. I'm a stakeholder in this. I got something to. Okay, stakeholder. Make it medium well, because you're going to have to wait to get your turn. Everyone's got to bitch about everything, and it's not going to get fixed fast. Get ready for the pain. Biden was not lying when he said that. It's going to be painful. $136 a barrel oil, says JPM. J. Pumont Mogren. JP Morgan. They know what they're talking about, folks. But they're saying it's like a stop on its way to $200 a barrel. If we double the barrel price, you think it's not going to double at the pump from where it's at now? And today, oil hit another all-time national high, up 10 cents a gallon overnight. I guess I'm not driving anywhere. Never again. Woo! Okay, and, so the answers, I guess, electric vehicles, electric scooters, electric bikes, electric skateboards. Speaking of electric stuff, Elon Musk. Oh, before I get into Elon Musk, if you got a question, get it into Jolene. A topic, Stump the John by doing this. Stump the John is tell a lie, tell a truth. Put two things up there and see if I can pick out which one's true. And it's amazing because when you put a lie up there, the lies actually sound more like truth. And the truth is so unfreaking believable, it sounds like a freaking lie. I love playing Stump the John with you guys. Anyways, Elon Musk. He's had it with this bullshit. We've got some fundamental problems in this country because we all know what the solution is. Folks, the Democrats know what the solution is. The Republicans know what the solution is. But this uniparty, screw America up attitude is prevalent. That's really what's happening, right? But they've got the people so divided and pitted against each other. It doesn't matter who gets elected. We're not going to have an easy time of this. And we're going to end up, I think, in partisan conflict. But Elon Musk, I thought, well, Elon Musk might be the guy that says, hey, we need to set some stuff out, infrastructure, go down the line and fix problems. Trump could have done that, I think, but partisan bullshit. Elon Musk could have been a guy who stood up and said, well, put me on the board, right? Put me on the White House. Nope. No, he's now been dragged into the partisan shit. But he's going after him. He says, get this. This is what he tells Tesla employees. You've got to come back to the office. Pretend to work somewhere else. In other words, you're coming back to the office and you're going to work. No more of this pretending to work at home shit. Now, what's amazing is I know a lot of people, folks, that work from home and they put their nose to the grindstone harder than they do at their office because they don't have a half hour or hour commute each way. They're not putting 1 to 2 hours into driving, the cost, the expense, the frickin' headache, and everything else of dealing with traffic and stupid shit. So like, I like working at home. I'm going to bust my ass. I think these younger folk, in other words, liberal millennials, I think they're sitting around, shall we say, flogging their dolphin. That's what I think they're doing at home. And Elon Musk is tired of it, and he's calling them out. It's time to get productive, in other words. It's time to get productive. But there's this other problem we have. And it is the regulatory, bureaucratic, government, red tape, nonsense, horseshit that's standing in the way. I want to fix problems like you. I want America to be great like you. And I also want our rights intact. So again, I was having a little discussion, right, with Chris B. Bacon. And we said, look, how do we get through this? These people are going to put so much red tape up. that even when they decide what solution is best, it's not going to help us, right? It's these politicians. And I said, when we get through all this SHTF, what is America going to look like? Are they going to say, hey, look, we run everything. You people are just the pissant peasants, and we're going to tell you how it is? The government seems to be pushing for that type of control over you and me. That's what they're pushing for over you and me, is total control of our lives. Or are we going to have rights where we say, you work for us, fix the problems? One of our first problems is these politicians are a bunch of lying scumbags who are just lining their pockets with American wealth. Here's my example. Kamala Harris bursts out laughing while talking about the droughts of California. Why is everything funny to this freak? How can we expect them? Primarily, I want government out of the way. Just get the hell out of the way, federal government. Let the states try and fix their problems. They got enough, especially California, trying to fix their own problems within their state without additional federal regulations and clowns like Kamala Harris, who breaks out laughing. Everything is funny. She snickers and laughs at every tragedy. What does she know? Or is she just really some kind of sick, twisted, horrifying human that finds humor in the most discomfort, pain, and suffering of the American people and people around the world? That's the vice president, folks. She is so bad. She makes Al Gore as vice president seem like somebody that we would rather have in that position. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Al Gore, the world's going to be underwater in 10 years. The world's going to be 100 degrees hotter in 10 years. Yeah, that clown. At least he was sober on the job. It's like Kamala Harris has taken way too many Xanax or something before she goes to the microphone and starts talking. Un-SHTFing believable, folks. They're not going away. We've been saying all along, we could get rid of Cerveza-Bug once and for all. The people don't believe it. The people don't buy it. The people don't buy it. The only people I know getting sick are people who have gotten the Jim Jones juice and their juice boosted. Those are the only people I know of that are getting sick. I mean, who the hell gets sick with a virus in the summer? It's almost summer. It's late spring. It's getting hot. It's almost summer. Who gets sick at that time? Well, people with weak immune systems. That is who gets sick. People with weak immune systems who have little pieces of biological matter that's been injected into them, that's supposed to be harmless, but is likely causing problems. Okay. So they don't want, that's the card they want to keep around, right? They want to maintain their emergency. They want to make sure the courts understand they do have the authority to say and do whatever they want. Unfortunately, the federal government, you don't have jurisdiction outside of Washington, D.C., and apparently airborne airline cabins, right? Once an airplane gets up in the air, they own it. Give me a freaking break. Anyways, back to the article. Dr. Fauci says it is entirely conceivable that Americans will need annual Cerveza-Bug juice booster shots. There it is. Of course he would say that. Why wouldn't he say that? How appropriate he says that. There is so much going on, folks, about the coming election, by the way. There's so much coming on in the coming election. Unbelievable. There's so much out there about all of the election fraud. There's so much out there. Unbelievable. Arizona, other states, it's unbelievable. And if you're on Google, if you're in front of the world, social media, they'll stop you from saying it. At the Patreon site, The Prepared Mind on patreon.com, we got some articles there that'll knock you out of your socks. I'm sure Jolene is posting them as she finds them, or they come to her and me and get them out to you. It's incredible. I want to thank Mr. Skylight again, who is on it, and he's finding these just incredible articles. And I'll be sending some more to Jolene after this show because I've got more, folks, unbelievable stuff. That 2,000 mules is nothing compared to what is still coming out. Whew. Are you ready? It's going to get hot, folks. Hot. Conflict. Hot, right? It's going to get hot. It's not going away. And you want something else that's not going away is this push for gun control. But there's a problem, folks. We got some big problems with government. They have really screwed the pooch on this one. Now, the Uvalde Police Department, the one who said, we don't want to get shot, they're no longer cooperating with the state of Texas and its investigation over this deadly mass shooting. I love how they put the words deadly and mass shooting together, as if shooting, yeah, those are pretty much deadly things. Anyways, according to multiple reports, the shooter, Salvador Ramos, spent more than 40 minutes inside as family and witnesses begged the police to go into the building. Police arrived 4 minutes into this shooting, and the bad guy, Salvador, went on an uninterrupted shooting spree until it was interrupted at the very end, right? The Governor Abbott of Texas, was livid at the response of the cops and their excuse, we don't want to get shot, right? Sheriffs around the nation are making harsh criticisms and speeches, reassuring their constituents that they take their job seriously and they are trained to confront armed killers and they will do their jobs. That's how bad this has been handled. So now not only, folks, the Uvalde Police Department, the Uvalde School District are no longer cooperating with the Texas Department of Public Safety's investigation. That was reported, folks, not by some wacko. It was ABC News. The American Broadcasting Corporation, ABC News, is reporting that the police department and the school district aren't cooperating with the investigation. Here's where I stand. The inconsistencies, failures, lies are all suspicious and give the appearance of false flag operations, including, folks, the fact that a U.S. Army intelligence surveillance plane arrived shortly before and left close to the time this incident ended. Why was the Army there? Why? Is it just a coincidence? Another one? Now, a false flag, folks. It's one of those terms, right? It's kind of like a black swan. Same, similar, in the same league at least. What we're saying when we say that is something has happened. It can be an organic event, something that happened naturally and it's taken advantage of, co-opted, because you don't let an emergency, a crisis go to waste. Or it could be a completely manufactured, and this is the more proper definition. When a government conducts an operation or says an operation happened in an effort to fool people in order to push its agenda, that is a false flag. The example I will give is the Secretary of Defense from Vietnam era, 1960s and 70s, Robert McNamara. He was in there, I believe, during the Johnson administration. He came out after the year 2000, over 30 years later, and says the Gulf of Tonkin incident never happened. The Gulf of Tonkin incident was an incident claimed by the United States government in Washington, D.C., that an American ship was sunk, attacked by the North Vietnamese, the communists. And so we now have reason to engage in this war. That's the excuse we're using to send American troops to Vietnam and increase the war effort. He lied. Back then, the American government did. Not American as in me and you Americans, but the U.S. government, that thing that lives in Washington, D.C. They lied. And he actually said this, folks. Fact check away. Now, could Robert McNamara have been lying in 2003 or 4 or 5, whenever it was he said that? Yeah, he could have. He could have been lying after. But why? To anger Vietnam vets, to anger patriots to anger Americans that we were used that way, right? We were lied to about Handy Sook, the Boston cream pie bombing, the Aurora Theater mass shooting, right? The psychotic jerk who shot up the Uvalde school has a laundry list of problems in his life, from animal cruelty, severe, to being confrontational with anyone that he came across, but to having some clothing and gender issues, which still haven't been fully explained, right? Psycho, a perfect stooge, a perfect patsy. Where did he get thousands of dollars to buy that equipment? How did he get in there, right? This is being used, folks. This is being used as a tool. It's a wedge issue. They're exploiting a massacre that looks highly suspicious, and it's getting more suspicious because now the police department and school district are not cooperating. There's a problem, folks, in the world. There's a problem in the United States of America. And it's not me and you. It's not me and you. We pay our taxes. We obey the law. We want our country to be great again. We don't want to destroy it. We didn't vote for destroying our economy, our infrastructure. But it's happening. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Now let's get ready for your questions. It's your turn, folks. Time for the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Now, I met someone the other day who said, they're like, you have opinions about stuff. I'm like, yeah. So I have the Prepared Mind channel on YouTube alone, 80,000 subscribers. And they're like, whoa, right? People are listening to stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, I've never heard of you though. I'm like, of course not. That's why we share, folks. Share this link right up here, right? The internet address. Share that link with people. I was surprised. This person is they got some investment in silver. And they're like, have you ever heard of Mr. X? And I was like, I've never heard of that Mr. X person who you quote that has helped convince you that, keeping some of your assets in silver is a good idea. I was shocked, right? We need to reach out to more people. There's a lot of good people out there, folks, and they're not getting the information that you are getting. You keep trying to tell them. Most of them don't listen, but we get through. Share with other people, please, this address, and help this network, the Prepared Mind Network, grow. It's critical at this point, folks. It's not coming down to the wire. We crossed the wire. We're in the shit. Okay, Jolene, super administrator. We've got some questions. We start with Charlene T, who says, I wonder what the next distraction will be. I'm going to have to talk with the R Syndicate. Well, we got a lot of ideas, folks. We just don't know. And so, yeah, Charlene, we are wondering because Uman said, and this is in a manner of speaking, relatively, when they didn't have anything big, we were getting the change in news cycle. Like every 72 hours, something new would come along. Oh my gosh, Omicron screwed the old virus and created another one. Whoops, that's not working. Monkeypox. They kept changing stuff, right? And we would have a little financial this, and then some more medical that, and then we got the big kahuna, right? The big distraction was Ukraine. Send your guns to Ukraine. Yeah, that happened. Democrats, please get rid of your guns. You guys are not trustworthy. Still, I wonder what the next distraction will be. We're going to have many distractions. But what is the next big distraction? Well, China's continuing to talk about Taiwan. And Taiwan and the United States had some diplomatic discussions the other day. But the American strength in the Pacific, you've got the Pacific Rim and you have the Pacific Island. We've got Australia and New Zealand, our totalitarian, anti-freedom partners. I love Aussies, folks. Kiwis, they're a little bit more decidedly tart in my taste buds, but still, those are our cousins and our second cousins. New Zealanders are like second cousins because every one of them I met is kind of like anti-gun. It's like, okay, back to New Zealand with you. Anyways, the point being is China is developing and strengthening its position in the Pacific. The Pacific Partnership that the United States government, once again, it's the government, the ties that we have to protect our allies, that is weakening. I am sensing that as soon as they need it, the next big move is going to be China stepping up and showing the world they don't give a shit what the world thinks. And I'm not saying go China because I think it's cute. I'm just saying watch China. I think that is the next most probable big one. Big one. Now, perhaps this one you could say is equally as big, and that'll be the Roe v. Wade decision that has to be handed down officially so it can be sent over to the printing presses and put in some leather-bound tome, right? Whatever the number is they're up to on making some wild-ass decisions. Domestically, I think that is going to be the next catalyst for the summer of love. And it's interesting. I've heard other people that I'm like, I hear summer of love, and I'm like, what? And I go, they use the term summer of love, not because they're a prepared mind viewer, but because that's what they think of 2020, and they're expecting more. I was talking to Chris P. Bacon, and never mind. Enough on the Chris. I don't want to bring Chris into this. He's not guilty of anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He just talked to me. Anyways, yeah, people that I'm hearing him talk out loud, folks. Personal people I know of, and then strangers on the street, they're talking. They're bringing this stuff up. And I really think that the Roe v. Wade is the big domestic one, and that China, Taiwan is the international crisis. They've got a lot to hand out. A lot of crisis is coming. Woo! Great topic. Thank you very much, Charlotte and Jolene. Who do we have next on the Prepared Mind channel? Got to bring some humor in it because it's all satire. Look out. The Yankee Watchdog. Hey, bro. He says, if oil goes to $2 a barrel, the drilling companies will be pumping it again. Now, this is amazing. There's drilling companies pumping, right? There's oil companies pumping oil in America, in Alaska, in the continuous 50, in the Gulf of Mexico. They're drilling offshore in California. They're drilling oil, folks, in Southern California. They're doing it, just not as much. And certainly not enough for us to be safe. Now, you are correct in that that thing called fracking, which is producing a lot of light distillates, oil sands, right? They're doing that, but it was always dollar negative. It was subsidized in order to make it profitable. There's so much energy and money that has to be pumped into it to get that shit out that it just wasn't profitable, right? And not to mention that those wells are not like wells in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates. They're not like wells in Qatar or Qatar, if you will, or Iraq or Iran. These are very shallow and there's not a lot there. So they do a lot of drilling and they get what they can. And then they basically have to do whatever reclamation is required in this oil sands, fracking, whatever they call it. So if oil goes to $2, 2 C notes, 2 Ben Franklins a barrel, it will make that more profitable. But is the federal government, are they allowing new drilling permits? That's what we're looking at, right? The Biden administration has stopped a lot of stuff from going on. Traditional oil wells like those in Texas and Southern California, they are continuing. Up in Oklahoma, you bet. Some of the other states, the natural gas wells that are producing, they'll be more profitable because natural gas is going through the freaking roof. Unbelievable. And speaking of energy, right? You get natural gas. Well, that's dirty. That pollutes 50% of what coal does, and coal is the worst thing ever. Even though coal has made the Industrial Revolution possible. Without coal, folks, we wouldn't have electricity. Without coal, we wouldn't have cars. Without coal, we wouldn't have steel. Without coal, we wouldn't have trains. Without coal, we wouldn't have air conditioning. Right? Coal made all of that possible, and it still does. But they want to get rid of coal, and I get it. It's dirty. I mean, the last thing I'm going to do is go breathe a big lungful of air from one of those smokestacks, no matter how much they scrub it. I still don't want to breathe it, right? No, of course not. Right? Clean coal. Well, natural gas is half as polluting as coal, even though it's a pretty blue flame. Natural gas is going through the roof. And they also use natural gas, not just to light your stove and heat your home, cook your food. They use it to power massive turbine generators for creating electricity. But they don't want to do that, right? They're trying to cut back on that. Let's go green. Well, what are your alternatives if you're not using coal or natural gas? Well, you've got solar and wind, and if the wind don't blow and the sun goes down on a daily basis, what else do you have? Uranium, nuclear energy. Well, get this, folks. Go Biden. Let's go Brandon, right? Another nuclear power plant closes. Right? And natural gas is going through the roof cost-wise. Right? Get ready for electricity shortages. Right? We've got evidence that this is coming, folks. Another closure, Palisades Power Plant in Michigan. 811 megawatts, almost a gigawatt of power. Right? It's been shut down. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC, issued a report saying the U.S. grid doesn't have enough generation capacity and that blackouts are almost certain to occur. And then they shut down another nuclear power plant, which, by the way, is against the Biden program. Well, get this. The Biden program wants nuclear energy. So why are they letting this happen? They already have, I think, $6 billion earmarked for keeping nuclear power plants going, but they're not distributing the money. They're not letting it out, right? So this is the thing, right? There's no doubt that this Palisades power plant, and another one closed just last week, folks, it's going to result in more greenhouse gas emissions. In other words, they're going to have to fire up all of the natural gas generation they can in order to try and hit peak load, right? It's unbelievable. They say they want green, but they're shutting down. The reason they're doing this, folks, is not because they don't realize it. The reason they're doing it is they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose, right? New York closed the Indian Point Energy Center, nuclear power. Vermont shuttered their Vermont Yankee plant, nuclear, right? I believe they're doing this intentionally. So we have blackouts, we have brownouts, we have rolling blackouts so that all of America can feel the pain of going green. They need to bring down the economy. They need to upset people. They need to hurt us and put us so that we beg them, please, please fix this, right? And then they say, well, we want the Green New Deal. We want all of you to pay soaring gas and fuel prices and electricity prices. It's coming. Are you prepared? Eggs, chickens, they've wiped out tons of chickens, and they're now, apparently they're roasting eggs, right? Baby formula, meat processing plants, had a bunch of mom and pops and small operations just caught on fire, got, destroyed. We got a lot of stuff going on, right? And if it doesn't affect the overall food production in the country, it's scaring the hell out of a lot of people and excusing the increases in prices called inflation. Are you prepared? That's why I say have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have it, because the prices are going to go bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Get ready, folks. Okay, I'm full of good news today. Bonnie Blue 2A checking in. Pow says Pulse nightclub mass murderer passed. Oh, I forgot about the Pulse nightclub. It was where the lunatic skinny jeans wearing fruitcake lost it and went to a skinny jeans wearing fruitcake light in the loafers dance club and shot it up. And it had a very funny odor, not because of all their cologne that was doused on them all, but because it felt kind of falsy flaggy, if you know what I'm saying. So the Pulse nightclub mass murderer passed up a couple of other clubs because armed security was visible at the front door. Pulse did not have it visible from the street, so he picked that soft target. Right. If you've lost your noodle, right? If you've lost your shit, and it's time to, I guess, go off and prove to the world that you're a lunatic. Of course, a lunatic leftist at that. You don't go to where the guns are. You go to where there's no guns. Schools, right? Shopping malls, stores that have a no gun policy, right? I want to go to a store that has a we recommend 2 guns policy, right? That is why I recommend you, talking to you now, I'm talking to you here, you have a concealed weapons permit and you carry everywhere you go. Now, I have been guilty of going in public without carrying my piece, but other times I'm strapped. So take a chance. Either way, you pull out a piece when I'm around and I'm charging at you, right? At the first opportunity, I'm charging. Why? Because when ambushed, you always charge the ambusher. If you just sit back and wait, you're giving them time until it's your turn to take a hot lead injection. And I would rather take a hot lead injection, folks, through the arm or the leg or somewhere, right? While dodging and weaving and getting at the person. Because we've seen time and time again also, and this is just me, I'm not making any recommendations. I'm not saying you have to be a hero. I'm just saying these people are lousy shots. Like the jackass who just last week tried shooting up a graduation party. Once again, leftist, lunatic, criminal tried using an AR-15 to kill a bunch of party goers at a graduation party. But he was neutralized by a woman carrying a handgun. Bam! Problem solved. No jail time needed. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go right to the cemetery. Took care of the problem. She's a national hero. She should be on TV doing interviews saying, this is what I believe, and this is what happened, and this is how it worked out. Cricket, 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 right? Or ribbit, 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 ribbit if you're on an island that has frogs, or if you're in a country that has frogs, or if you're in a country with mosquitoes, it's bzz, bzz, bzz. You don't hear nothing, right, from the mainstream media. Where's ABC on that? They could have a scoop of scoops, and this is what I don't understand. The mainstream media is going down. ABC, NBC, CBS, who cares? CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, who gives a shit? Fox News, totally left and unbalanced now. All of you stupid networks are going down in your ratings, even Fox. If one of them said, you know what? We're going to get the other side's opinion on this. Even if half their, well, it's going to be about 9/10 of their audience doesn't believe it, at least they're scooping the others. You want to get an audience watching your channel? Hey, wake up producers at mainstream media. You want to get people to watch your news? Put on something other than left-wing communist dribble, right? Interview the lady that shot the dude that saved the people at the party. Let her tell her story. Don't worry, your liberal communist people won't like it, and they won't change their mind. But you might get some viewers from the other side, right? There it is. I did my good Samaritan deed trying to help them out. I think you would get a lot of people changing their mind, actually. I do. I think the liberals would be like, hey, you mean there's another side to this gun thing? You mean guns have a good purpose? Oh, geez, I never thought of that because I'm an idiot. That's right. Left-wingers are idiots. Let's move on. Thank you very much for that. And you can make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Thank you. And that's SHID. You can't make this shit up, but it is SHTFing believable. He says, how are Uvalde officials not cooperating? See, what you have to do is you have to watch the Federal Bureau of Investigation respond to subpoenas and demands by Congress during the Trump administration. You see, the Trump administration wanted stuff taken care of. Congress was very upset. So they said, we're going to have hearings. They told the FBI, bring the information, bring the information, bring the information, bring the information, bring the information. The FBI never brought the information. They stonewalled. They denied it. They said, no, this is no longer voluntary, FBI. We're subpoenaing you. You have to provide the information. Information was provided, redacted, blacked out, redacted, blacked out, blacked out, blacked out, blacked out, which means redacted, redacted, redacted. They're like, how useful is this? You've redacted everything. You didn't supply everything we asked for. You brought us the wrong stuff. That is exactly how you stonewall an investigation. How are Uvalde officials not cooperating? A school district. They're not answering. So the investigative department of Texas, they're going to have to go to court and get a court order demanding. They'll probably have to get a writ of mandamus, right, issued against these people. And they're still going to stonewall. They can be held in criminal contempt, folks. And if they're being covered for, remember that army plane I talked about? If this is a deep state, and the deep state is something very real, it's not just a cliche, it's not an Alex Jones cutesy thing, it's real. It's not the name it goes by. You know, they're the club, if you will, and you're not in it. They're on that team. They think they're going to win. They're all useful idiots, right? But they're very powerful idiots. There's a lot of money backing them. Name your corporation, your international corporation, and they're backing all of this. If they wanted this to happen, whoever the anti-gunners are, they'll have their tools in the federal government, run cover, supply protection, etc. Anything they can to keep the truth from coming out. When the truth is convenient, they'll be there in front of a microphone all day long. When the truth is inconvenient, when the truth hurts their agenda, they stonewall and they call Big Brother. They call their buddies in DC and they put as much pressure on the bad guys, right? Elon Musk, you want to cause problems? All of a sudden, federal bureaucracy comes after them, right? Oh, Governor DeSantis over there in Florida, you don't want to play games, right? The way we do. You want to stop all these sick, twisted perverts from grooming children to be sexual toys. You want to stop that, do you? Well, guess what? A lot of bad things are going to happen in Florida, and we're going to try and make you look bad. We're going to come after you. We're going to investigate you. Oh, it happens, folks. Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro, Obama used the Internal Revenue Service to go after anyone who opposed him politically. Remember that thing called the Tea Party? Right? Unlawfully prosecuted, persecuted. Name your institution in DC, folks. You know how they can be used. Right? Whatever your business does, if you've got a business, right, you'll be investigated for it. Let us move on if we shall. I know that we've got a lot going on. It's a powerful week. We got Uman. And he says, we had a question yesterday about what part of a false flag makes it false. I used to say false waving of the flag. Same thing. Fake flag, false flag, black swan. What makes it false is the pretense under which we're supposed to accept the narrative. Or it was supposedly falsely blamed on someone else, right? In other words, a patsy. You could say that the assassination of John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, was a false flag operation. They needed a lone gunman, right, to blame, a patsy. That was what was false about that. The fact that the CIA The Dallas Police Department. Oh, yeah. The mafia. And shall we say, domestic and international assassins were involved. All working together in collusion, folks, conspiring, paid and backed with hard cash from very powerful elitists. But what made that a false flag, along with being an assassination, a very public assassination, was that the pretenses under which we were supposed to believe it happened, that was the falsity, that was the lie, that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. And I laugh, folks, because he didn't even know he was being used until it was too late. He put the pieces together. He went on a run. Oh, yeah. Lots of problems, folks. Whew. Ended up in a movie theater. Right. Bonnie Blue checks in, says, prepper tip during summer electrical outages and brownouts. You can sleep more comfortably in a cot in a cool basement than on a hot second floor. You have to be smart, folks. Right. If your area is experiencing brownouts, do you turn up the air conditioner to get all you can before it goes all the way out? Do you get a fan? How do you get cool? It depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on your area. How cool does the house get? I used to, just as a matter of course, in my lifetime, always open windows at night, cool the house down as much as possible, shut it down, everything during the day. And there's no way to get through it. You're hot, you're uncomfortable, you're muggy, you're sticky, right? Whatever. You just do your very best. Prepper tips, brownout tips, all these things are good for us as Americans to understand, because I think we're going to get it. They've been promising it, and we're going to get it. They're coming after us. They need to shut down America so that they can build back better. And if you buy that, I got some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona. And that's only if the entire state of California falls in the water, in the ocean. A lot of people are wishing that could happen. I'm not wishing that could happen, because I know, it would just be horrifying. Something that cataclysmic. Perhaps that's what's going to happen. Perhaps we're going to get a big natural calamity, folks. Alien invasion, something like that. But I think we're not quite there yet. I don't think so. Could we get there? Oh, yeah. We've got a number of different ways that they can just make our world incredibly difficult. Okay. Hey, Mr. Skylight, I just got another email from you. Thank you very much. Unbelievable. Do we have one more question, or can I roll it up with some of my own? I want to roll this up. I'm going to roll it up. The World Economic Forum, folks, is not about just the world. They want to start with America. The technocrats, the brilliant people there, are urging people to ditch meat. You like turkey, chicken, pork, beef? You like that stuff? Well, guess what? That's not on the menu. And I'm not talking about bugs or fake meat this time. Right, not this time. I mean, those are still on their menu for us. Bugs and their fake lab-grown meat. No, thank you. No Franken meat for me. They're saying this, though. But ditch meat and other foods deemed to be harmful to the planet, and instead consume climate beneficial foods such as seaweed, algae, and cacti. Are there enough cacti on the planet to feed the world? Is there enough prickly pear out there? Hey, prickly pear, it's full of water, sugar, nutrients. Is there really enough to feed the world? Or are we going to end up with a cactus emergency because people go, oh, okay, I'll go eat all the cactuses? How about algae? I love the idea of blue-green algae as a supplement. Yeah, but an algae steak? Is there enough algae out there? Are there enough algae farms to feed all the people of the world? And then finally, seaweed. They have been pushing seaweed as food on the world, folks, since like the 1960s. Seaweed is disgusting. It is not salad material. It's seaweed. It's a plant. It's digestible. Doesn't really taste good. I mean, I'll stick with my usual diet, but folks, this is what they're pushing and continuing to push, right? But I love the climate beneficial foods. Well, algae are actually very beneficial for the planet. If you eat them, they can't be beneficial. So stop eating algae. Let algae do its job. Algae, folks, the Pacific Ocean especially, but the other oceans as well, have algae in them. And that algae consumes carbon dioxide. That's right. Algae is carbon dioxide eating stuff. It scrubs the air. We need more plants. We need more algae. We don't need to keep eating all the plants. We need to eat meat. We're omnivores. These people are sick and they want to bring the system down, folks. Don't worry, they want to bring the population down too. They want to get rid of the useless eaters. They do, folks. They want to get rid of the useless breathers. Yes, they do, and they've said so. They would love to bring the world population down to 500 million, says the Georgia Guidestones. How do they get there? War, famine, pestilence. Are you prepared, folks, for what they have in mind? We can't all be perfect. We can't all see everything, but we can see a general direction they're pushing, and it ain't pretty. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? Get 3 months of food minimum, folks, to get through the rough spots and bumps. 3 months worth of food. Water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Go to thepreparedmind.club, your store. See if we can help you get prepared for what is coming. And it is SHTFing believable. Unbelievable. Semper Fi. God bless America.